We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Joy, I got joy. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Joy in My House, inspirational reality show with a touch of recovery. A reality show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant who shares.
I'm joined here by my co-host and recording artist, Lolita Robinson.
Hello, how are you today? I'm glad you made it.
Welcome to another day of Joy in My House.
Getting your girls all together, getting dressed and...
Yeah, getting dressed, getting them fed and comfortable, and then getting ready myself and making sure that we have all our material.
That's good.
It's a little overwhelming at times, but very grateful.
Well, you know what? I had sons. And so now I'm kind of taking care of my niece. You guys have met Elizabeth, and it's a lot of work, girls. It's a lot of work. So my hat goes off to you and Ashley, and I'm just glad you made it.
You know what's good, though, is that the girls are about the same age.
Yeah.
Ashley's daughter and my daughter. Mm-hmm. Ashley's daughter, Layla, is 9. My daughter is 10. And they just are like two peas in a pod.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? They get along well.
Really well.
That's important.
And that really helps us out to also, manage the time and situate everything. So I'm grateful. Also, because it was my granddaughter's
I can't
first
believe
birthday.
You're a grandfather. My guys, come on. I haven't even gotten in the pool yet. That is so cute. She's beautiful. I remember when Alicia brought her to the house.
Yeah.
How's that year been for her as a young mom?
You know what? I think it was, it's hard acclimating to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
a lot of
as
changes.
you women really take to your children and you start sacrificing for them. Men, we can detach very easily.
Right.
My mom is the one that forced me to love my children. She's like, no, you're going to take care of them. You're going to watch them. Then I bonded with them.
Right.
If it wasn't for my mother. But for women, from what I see, the mothers of my
we
other
have to
children
step up there.
and my daughter, you guys just really sacrificed for your baby. So it's interesting to see the year progress, because she was a girl and now she's a woman.
She's a woman, yeah. It would be neat. I mean, you have to talk to her about it, but maybe have her come on one time and give her perspective on the pros and cons of being a young mother, Now, she's graduating this year, right?
Next year.
Next year,
she's
okay.
She's not a senior yet. She'll be a senior next year.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's gone fast. It's
like
gone
a blink
fast.
of an eye?
Yeah, it has.
But my children are healthy. I have great relationships with my kids.
Right.
I have great relationships with their mothers, their respective mothers.
Right.
So it allows us to co-parent, allows us to raise our children best we can.
That's
and
right.
it's there's peace.
Okay.
There's peace. A lot of times that chaos of what am I going to do today? What's going on here? What's going on there?
Mm-hmm.
That stress, I teach martial arts. That stress wears me out more than any session of teaching martial arts.
Oh, yeah, because it's emotional. You got to really be present. With martial arts, you can it's physical, but emotional can really drain you.
Yes, it can.
It is hard to be present for your families.
But we just had a Thanksgiving.
That's right.
So I got to ask, how was your Thanksgiving, Lolita?
It was very nice. My brother, the highlight, what we were laughing at Chihuahua Beverly Hills Chihuahua Part 3. That George Lopez, I love him. He cracks me up. He gave his little daughter a quinceañera. Is that what?
Quinceañera, yes.
Yes, the little Chihuahua. Oh, it's adorable. We were cracking up. Laughter's good. How about you guys? What'd you do?
You know what? It had the family over. Ashley came over and actually sat down and had dinner with my parents for the first time. She had met them before, but this was a sit down.
This is a sit down.
And let me tell you, it was nerve wracking because I had to prepare everything. She was coming, my sister was coming, and
Your
family
sister.
time is always a little overwhelming for me.
It's hard.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, and the big baboos coming Christmas. At least Thanksgiving is cheap, Well, not cheap, but you don't have to bring presents. It's just kind of food, but now it's the gifts and everything. So I wanted to tell you, I'm really enjoying. We had Kevin and Sean on, right? Well, not Sean wasn't on, but Kevin, her husband, from his ministry, No Man Left Behind.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
what was his last name again?
I don't remember his last name.
Okay, but anyway, his wife invited me to be a part of their Monday morning conference call prayer. I've really been blessed by it.
Wow.
It's hard
good.
getting up in the morning, but She has a manna for the day. We pray on the line, and other women from around the United States get together and pray. So I've really been blessed.
Yes, because last week we had a great guest for you, ladies and gentlemen, by the name of Kevin Cooperwood. He is the founder of Dominion Today Global Television Broadcast Show. He also texted me and said if I would speak at one of his men's meetings the 23rd.
Okay, good for you.
So it's something that he kind of texted me and kind of caught me off guard, but if, we're of service.
Right.
Even though
There
it's
you go.
difficult and
Yeah.
we have busy schedules, busy lives,
Right.
we have to take the time to inspire one another, to give each other hope, and
Right.
to validate
Well, we were
one
off
another.
last week.
Yes.
We were off last week. So what show did you play in?
Kevin Cooperwood,
You
which
played-
was
okay,
which was our
Kevin.
last show.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So we
That
want to
was
thank
awesome.
all of you out there who are listening and viewing and being a part of the joy that we have here in our house here on the network's website on www.latalklive.com. Know that you can follow us on Facebook. If you like the page, you'll receive up-to-date lineups of guests and information. There's also a Twitter page that you can follow, and you can also follow us on Instagram now. Instagram.com/join my house. But we have a great show for you today. A great friend of mine, and is going to be a great friend of Lolita's. I can already tell.
Teresa's awesome. We've already been talking. She's going to be
Teresa
wonderful.
Bronax, she is the wardrobe stylist for CBS television show The Young and the Restless, but she is also the CEO and founder of House of Bronax, and she's authored a new book, Success in Beauty: The Secrets to Confidently Following Your Dreams Effortlessly. You are not going to want to miss. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joy in My House. We're going to come back with Teresa. You stay tuned. Hello, I'm Joel Ramirez
And I'm Lolita Robinson Coppage, and welcome to Joy in My House
on LATalkLive.com. Inspirational radio
with a touch of recovery.
a reality show where nothing is left unsaid,
And no one is insignificant who says it.
exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV.
Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is TJ, inviting you to join us every Sunday at 2 p.m. for Veterans Day Live. Join us as we provide info that would help all military personnel. So don't forget to tune in to Veterans Day Live every Sunday at 2 p.m. That's every Sunday at 2 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio, or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey, this is Trisha Mann Grant, and I am inviting you to join us every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Gospel Rhythms Heaven's Party here on Earth. And join us as we talk to the Christians, just not any Christian, but all Christians of entertainment and all walks of life. Don't forget to tune in to Gospel Rhythms Heaven's Party here on Earth every Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio, or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Joy in My House, inspirational reality radio show with a touch of recovery. I'm joined here by author of Shaped by Master's Hand,
Very
Lolita
glad
Robinson,
to be here.
my co-host, and our in-studio guest, Teresa. Teresa, welcome to the show.
Yeah, she looks beautiful. Teresa speaking.
Teresa Bronax, thank you for coming on. You're a good friend of mine. We've spent some time together and
Yes,
gotten to know each other, and we have the same publicist that we work with, so we always kind of run into each other on different events. But I want to thank you for coming on, because I've been asking you to come on the show for a while.
Yeah,
but
how long has this been going on?
how long have we been friends?
A little while. We've been friends for a couple of years.
A couple years
Okay.
now.
At least 2 or 3, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe, but yeah, we've discussed it a couple times, but just didn't make it happen.
Well, you probably have a lot going on.
a little bit. And then it's all
Okay.
about timing for me. I like to do things when I think it's the right time.
Well,
'cause,
good for you. When you feel led that this is the time to do it,
Mhm.
that's all right. Well, I'm glad this is the time. Okay.
Same here. I know that you have your new book out, and it's called Success and Beauty: The Secrets to Confidently Following Your Dreams Effortlessly. And I know you can find it on Amazon right now.
Yes, you can.
But before we go into the book, I like our audience and viewers to get to know you a little bit, get to know your story, and what got you to this place where now you want to give back. So let's start off. Where were you born?
Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
So
That's a ways.
Midwest.
Okay.
It's a little ways. It's a little ways.
What's
a
it
little
like
cold
in
there
good old
now.
Columbus? Is it cold and hot in the summer?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, growing up, did you have any brothers or sisters?
I do. I have one sister, older sister, an older brother, and then a younger brother.
Okay, so you're in the middle child.
I'm the middle child, but
Okay.
I'm almost 10 years older than my younger brother, so I was
Okay.
the baby for a long time. Then, he
Oh,
came
so
along and took my spot.
He took do you let him live it down now?
Not really.
Now, are they in LA now, or are they back
no,
home?
they're all back home. I'm the only one here in LA.
Wow, that's
But my
very
daughter
interesting.
she went to school at the Academy of San Francisco, Design Academy of San Francisco.
for
So
her.
she was in Northern California for a while.
So you've
But,
been able to
but
go
she's
there.
back. Yes, and I used to go there all the time. Not as much now, but I love San Francisco. It's a really, really great place. But everyone's back east.
Do you ever
So-
go there for the holidays? Go back to Columbus?
Yes, I just came back from on Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Actually.
good.
Yeah,
Okay. So how
yeah.
was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was good. It was great to see family. I had a family and friends that I hadn't seen in a long time, and I had a book signing while I was there. And,
There you go.
Everyone was very supportive, so it was great. I go back quite often.
Mhm.
So because that's my LA is my home, but Columbus, Ohio is definitely my hometown.
That's
That's where
awesome.
my family and a lot of friends are. So I enjoy going back. I just try to stay away between the winter months.
I hear you on that one. I hear
Well, let's
you.
talk about growing up in Columbus. Were you guys a church-going family?
We were actually. I grew up in Trinity Baptist Church, and I actually went there whenever I go home. I do attend church. I
That's
attended
beautiful.
church. I did a lot of things. We did a lot of some food drives. So I anticipated and
So you've been in the
participated in
community,
that.
so you know what that's like to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I try to, give back whenever I can, and that is, going to my church, and because they do things as far as with the community and stuff there. So I try to. My mom's still involved. I went to Catholic school probably about like 9 years out of my school year. So I had
Wow,
a
so
lot
you
of
had a lot of foundation.
yes. a
Was
lot of
Jesus real
foundation.
to you, though, or was it more just out of duty, or did you really have a sense of who he was?
No, I've always had a sense of who God was and Jesus was in my
Good.
life. I think that you appreciate it and understand it more as an adult,
Yeah.
when you get older. And I knew that I was mainly in Catholic school more so for the education,
Mhm.
because it was, Catholic school was a lot. Education was probably a couple of years beyond what
Yeah,
the
it
public
was.
school,
Yeah.
was. So I knew I was there for that. But you're going to get to religion, and it's all from it's a little different, of course, Catholic than Baptist, but it's all from the same book, all from the same Bible. So
Good for you.
Yeah, same here. Going to parochial school, my elementary and then my high school years, then becoming a Christian, for me, Catholicism laid down the foundation of who Jesus was, at least in theory.
Right.
Then giving my life to Christ allowed me
Right.
to have that
The
personal
walk.
relationship.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
A lot of my friends that are Christians, it's because I work in recovery, they don't even have the Catholic background. So there is no foundation of even the theology or who Jesus was. It's more just the relationship with them.
Right.
So it's a little different. It's hard for me to understand, to be honest with you, sometimes. Well, you don't know who he is. You celebrate Christmas.
Right.
It's very interesting
right.
having had that foundation of at least in theory who Jesus is, and then
Right.
having that
Having
personal
the
walk.
personal walk with him. Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, do you remember during those formative years accepting and allowing Jesus into your heart? Do you remember the first time where you felt like God is real to me?
I've always felt like he was, somewhat real. I think that because I did go attend Catholic school, and I was, because I was always had this thing that I was Catholic during the week and I was Baptist on the weekends.
So Catholic, you're kind of quiet during the week, and on the weekend is praising the Lord.
Right.
There you go.
And it was a joke because we were kids, but it was something that I would say, and I just kind of laugh about it now. But I think, like I said, as I got older, I kind of understood, because it was some, I think, some misunderstandings as a child, being involved in both. But I feel like, as I got older, I just developed, my own relationship with God, and how I felt like I was comfortable, relating and talking and praying, and then, of course, as I became an adult, then I kind of, took it for, I feel like what it is, and I try to take it and go out and give back, because I feel like I've had, some really great blessings in my life. I've worked hard too, but I've definitely had some blessings, and I feel I've always had faith, because if you don't have faith, then you can't say you believe, but then you don't have faith, So I just feel like I've never felt. People always say, I think sometime when you're single, especially as a woman, if you've been single for a long time, like it doesn't necessarily mean you're lonely just because you're single.
You go.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's a misconception of that.
Right.
And because I've never felt lonely, because I feel like even if I didn't really have anybody, because you have your children, your immediate family, and things like that, but I feel like I'm never alone. I have God right here by me.
That's
awesome.
Amen.
And I have to say that because I've had too many, really great things happen in my life.
That's really well said.
Well, before we go into some of the favor that God has given you, let's talk about, did you face any challenges, or did you witness any dysfunction or experience any dysfunction growing up? You're in Columbus, Ohio. You're the middle
child. Is your mom and dad together? Your mom and dad?
No, they were, in their younger years, but my dad actually passed away when I was a teenager, very young.
So that would go into what you were saying.
So I think that, and my mom remarried, when we were older, but, it was a long stretch that she was a single parent. And I wouldn't, relate that with dysfunction.
But just challenges?
Yeah, just definitely challenges. I was a single mother. I came right out of high school, and it's definitely challenges. But I had a great upbringing. I think it's one of the reasons why I'm the woman I am today. I had some strong women. So I've had a strong female foundation in my life.
Your grandmother too?
Yes, my grandmother too.
Yeah.
Working women, and my grandmother was married. My grandfather was in the home. And,
but like Joel was saying, the mothers have more hands-on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I was raised by women where, you took care and you knew what you were expected to do, as a female back then, because, families are a little bit more traditional, back then. But they were still strong working women that, because my mom is a retired, emergency room nurse.
Oh wow!
And
so
things
you
like
know
that.
him.
I actually had a really, I would, say I had a really good upbringing. I was always able to do, of course there were struggles and things like that, but my mom was did the same, and I ended up doing the same thing. If you have struggles or can't make ends meet, then what do? You might have to go get a little part-time job for a short time, or you might have to find something that will supplement income. That's when your multi-talents and your different talents come in at, and you try to take and at least try to supplement that to take care of your family. So I always had that. You had
a good foundation.
I had a good foundation.
So you didn't have drugs and alcohol and all those kind of things going on.
No, not other than sociably. Not sociably. Because
welcome. Well, it's nice to talk to someone. The rest of us went off the deep end.
Yeah, for me it started social, but didn't end social. It ended very isolated, actually.
Yeah, we don't want to. There are people who can have a glass of wine and who can, be socially responsible with it. So that wasn't the case in my family.
I didn't really experience that. I'd say necessary a lot in my close,
your immediate family.
My immediate family, but of course in extended family, and people might have had little short stints, but with maybe some type of drug issue, but nothing that was so large that it was detrimental to the family. Nothing like that. No, I never experienced anything like that. But I knew people or knew extended family
Of people, right.
That have done that.
Yeah, so I've seen it, but not necessarily affect me, real
Well,
close.
that's
so
why
to
we
speak.
like to have this show, because we have a variety of different people.
Right, all walks
You are
of
what
life.
we call normie. Okay, that doesn't mean that you're perfect. It doesn't mean that you're not a sinner saved by grace.
And I
but
don't know
you don't-
about normal.
Well, normal. I guess fans looking at me like, "What is normal?" But I mean, but you know what I'm talking about in
Yeah.
terms of a family that was not
Exactly.
riddled with the
Right.
disease
Right.
firsthand.
But I did want to talk about your high school years,
Mm-hmm.
because during your high school years, you were very astute. You're very studious. Tell us a little bit. How was it? How was high school in Ohio?
Oh, high school in Ohio was actually great. I've always been a person that
So you a good
enjoyed
student?
school. I've always been, I wouldn't say obsessed, but I enjoy receiving knowledge and obtaining knowledge.
Look at you.
So school was
When did that
never-
start? I look forward to hear.
Very
Like,
young, actually.
what
very
were
young.
you? What were you seeking? I mean, what were you opening yourself up to?
I just always, and I've always was like this as a kid. I just always wanted to. I feel like if I'm gonna put my time and effort into it, then I want to be the best that I can be at it. Because if not, then I'm wasting my time.
Okay.
And I feel like my time is kind of valuable, so I don't want to.
Well, you let us know that you had to wait till it was the right time to come on, go girl. That's all right.
I didn't really like
No,
that.
I'm loving it. No, I
But,
find that delightful. You just like knowledge. You just
Right.
wanted to know why.
Right.
Was there any certain subject?
I would say English was one of my favorite, which is probably why I ended up writing.
Okay, very
So
good,
English,
okay.
English, and I liked chemistry, which
Oh,
I think
geez.
kind of coincides with the cosmetology. Being in the beauty business, because
Right.
it is a lot of like chemistry involved and science involved. It's not just about styling hair. You
Right.
actually got to know a little bit about so you don't damage people's hair. So which is basically the theory and the science of it. And so I would probably say those were my two probably favorite. So besides PE, I actually was a female who liked gym.
Okay.
Because I played sports. So.
Well, you enjoyed your school year. I'm listening
yeah,
to you going, go girl. Cause
I enjoyed my
you
school
know.
years. I played sports all year round, and I just was always active. Even as a young age, I always was doing something productive. I just like being busy.
that's beautiful. Okay.
Well, this is going to translate into, when did you realize that you had a passion for fashion?
Oh, wow. Well, I think I've always had a passion for fashion, because I've always thought that I always had a little flavor, a little flair.
There you go. Okay, we're dressing them dolls up, huh?
I like to think that I've always, had that. But, early on, because I did become a teenage mom, in high school, my senior years. So, having that
That
and
must
having
have been
to.
a challenge.
Yeah,
like
it
you
was
were saying.
definitely challenging.
Was your mom disappointed or?
I think probably at first, of course. I mean, she never told me that she was,
Right.
but you could tell,
Right.
because back then, I think it's a little different now, but
Ooh,
back then it was,
girl, yeah.
it was always like, well,
There was a stigma to it.
Sure
yeah,
was,
and it was
yeah.
like, it was like more like, okay, if you now that you're pregnant, is the dreams and the vision that maybe your parents had for you wasn't there, went away because now you have this. And,
That's
and
what we're
I,
told,
and I,
yeah,
and,
it's
and
all
I was
over.
determined, right? And I was determined that, so this definitely puts a bump in the road, a nice bump in the road.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to let it stop me from succeeding and doing what I need, what I wanted to do. But I knew. Going into something creative is usually a lot of times, it's entrepreneurialism. So that's a little harder to get into. And
It sure is,
18
yeah.
and 19 with a young child, I didn't think that was like the best route to go then. So, I worked in the corporate world for like 15 years.
What were you doing?
I worked for companies like Huntington Bank. I worked for Nationwide Insurance for a while, for like a few years, and then I worked for the State of Taxation Department of Ohio for
Look
like
at
10
you.
years. So I did a lot of corporate work, but working for taxation actually helped me when I went into my own business because I kind of knew
You knew what was going on, the foundation.
Right. So I think everything that I've done throughout my life has helped me get to the next phase.
Well,
and
let's talk about
continuous
that.
to
That
help
is
me,
really-
so.
Because
That's
you
really-
received your cosmetology license and you began to not only work in cosmetology, but develop and lead the design team at Soul to Soul Signature Salon located on Ohio State University.
So this was in college?
Yes, I mean I wasn't attending classes I went to Ohio State School of Cosmetology. That is where I got my my schooling from to get my cosmetology license. And this, when I got out there, they were developing a pretty full service salon. It was pretty big. The Ohio State University campus is huge. It's one of the largest campuses, in the U.S. actually. And we're definitely a big Buckeye city,
Right.
Big Ten. So whenever you have a Big Ten city in college football, it's a huge thing. So it was a really big salon that was going up, and it was a great opportunity just coming out of cosmetology school and into
So where
the
was
business.
this in line of you doing the corporate America things? Was this when you first had the baby? That's when you went to cosmetology school?
No, this was
after you done all the other
after
stuff?
I did all that. I was probably about I think I was like maybe 28, 29
Good
when
for
I went
you.
into the. So it was after it was a little
So
bit
your
during.
dreams came a little bit later.
Yeah.
You did what you had to do,
Right.
the practical stuff, which is what you were saying.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Because you had the corporate job, and I back
had to
then I was
feed.
making really good money. You had the full benefits. With children, you can't just think about the money. What else is coming with that packet, and health
Right.
insurance is an important thing.
Yes, it
Especially
is.
for the children,
Right.
It is,
Exactly.
yeah.
So that's what I knew that I needed to do at the time. And it was fine because, like I said, it gave me good foundation.
Because after that foundation, you later had the opportunity to open up Studio Design Group Incorporated, which was your company.
Yes. It was actually on the same street because both the Ohio State University runs off of a street called High Street, which is one of the main streets in Columbus, Ohio, and a little bit further south is like downtown, but on the same street. So I ended up opening up a salon on the same street, but just down a little further.
Oh, how
You
interesting.
know what? I always try and find we try to find the way to minister to people out there listening to you. You had to set your dream aside, but you didn't have to not fulfill your dream.
Absolutely.
See,
Absolutely.
that's the message that
Right.
I'm hearing, that you're
Right.
telling people for the bump in the road and a
Right.
beautiful blessing. You have a daughter?
I have a daughter and a son.
A daughter
actually.
and a son, okay.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
that's
Brandy
what
and
I think
Sherry.
is important, that life, sometimes there are things that come up, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to follow your dream.
Right, absolutely. Well, you should be planning anyway, and that's what one of the things that I do talk about in the book is that, you do have to be to have some sort of success. You have to be willing to take some risks for sure, but it doesn't mean you risk everything. You plan, you set the goals, you have a plan, and then you have to execute that plan. You can have a plan, but if there's no execution to it, then you're still in that same place.
Well, what's
So-
interesting
I like
is you
that,
did
yeah.
execute it because you provided this image development and lifestyle management company, and then had the opportunity to be creative director at Ozone Studios with clients like Victoria's Secret, Time Warner, The Gap, and that's just to name a few.
These quiet types. She just sat here just as quiet, look at all these names. Wow.
Well, before that, I'm going to touch on this one because while you were in Ohio, you had an opportunity to also work with a former president, George Bush.
I did. George W. Bush.
Wow, how did
the
that
son,
happen?
not the father.
Okay, that's right. I was about to say, you look good, girl. You
Yes,
still look good.
And that was like when I was in Columbus. Of course, they don't have like what they have in LA. We have unions like New York and Los Angeles. When you work in the industry, a lot of times you're a part of a union. But most the other states don't have unions, but there are film commissions. So when productions go into other states to film in other cities, they contact the film commission, for either some workers. They're not usually flying or having everybody from like LA come out to like necessarily Atlanta to work. They're getting some of the production team or some of the the workers, the crew there, and President Bush at the time was doing his campaign rounds and his different things, and Ohio is a big state
Yeah,
to get.
it is, yeah.
It's one of those determining states to get. So he was kind of doing some
Fundraising or
fundraising
campaigning?
and campaigning and stuff there, and his team Republican team contacted the Ohio Film Commission to recommend someone to work with him just to make sure he looked good on camera. You know what you do.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, because everybody has little tweaks and different things that they want on camera.
Hello.
You know, then
camera.
Camera.
Whoa, camera does not line.
And my company was they actually referred my company to do it. So I got to like ride around the motorcade with him and just.
And fix him, touch him up.
And kind of experience, and it was a good experience. I'm sure he knew that I wasn't Republican.
Okay, all right.
But you know, because of course you got to go through a thorough background check before you get anywhere near. You know, it was a great experience. You know, he was actually really nice, very had a sense of humor. I think that was the way that he felt like if somebody was nervous or just to kind of get things, you know, smooth things over. He had a nice sense of humor. But
how long did you travel around with him?
For like basically like 2 days, like throughout the day.
And you pick his clothes too and help him coordinate his suits and all that?
He basically brought stuff with him, so it was just making sure just things looked straight, like his tie and stuff looked straight, and a little bit of you know, his hair was good, and you know, of course we all have a little bit of makeup here and there that we might want to do. A little
I
bit
do.
Of, you know,
you sure do.
So you know,
that's
so
beautiful
just
that you.
Well, yeah, what a great opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
but it didn't stop you there, because after all that, you had so much favor in Ohio. You decided to make a transition and to move out to LA. Tell us what that transition was like and why you moved out here to LA.
And were your kids grown at this point?
or
did they go with you?
They were. Well, let's start with why I came first, and then I'll get to the kids. I knew at some point that I was, you know, was wanted to go. It was between West and you know, Los Angeles and New York, and I had done a few things in New York back and forth, but it was easy. New York was easier because, you know, New York and Ohio are fairly close,
right? Yeah,
so I could still go there and
back
be there
and
for
forth,
back and forth, easy transition. But you know, I knew that if I wanted to really be in the mainstream of television where I was getting like steady work, you know, where you can actually make a nice living because it's steady work, I needed to be in Los Angeles.
Because New York is more the Broadway, the stage and stuff.
A lot of times. I mean, there is some TV shows and stuff there, but I think for the most part, it's all, you know, West. A lot of it is West. So, and then, of course, the weather itself. You know, that
has a lot to do with it.
We're December 6th today. Middle of winter, it's 70,
like
what was it, 76 degrees.
Right. So the weather alone will, you know, can be a good factor of, you know, weighing you either way as well. So but for the first year, I kind of came out back and forth, and I had a friend I did know one person here. She really wasn't
did you know anybody?
She wasn't in the industry, but she was a childhood friend who had moved out here, moved back because her mother was originally from California, and we had always kind of kept in touch. And so I would, you know, come out here and I would stay with her, and
but you had no ties to the community of in television?
Not really.
Oh,
no,
see, that's important.
Not really. Had no ties, and but she helped me learn the city and get around. You know, Los Angeles is very, very huge. So when I wanted to figure when I did make the move, I at least when I got here kind of knew my way around. I could maneuver, and I was, you know, getting contacts and, you know, different things when I was out here too.
Well, how did you do that? I mean, that's not easy to make contacts in LA.
Well, this is what I was going to touch on, because it's very interesting. And a lot of our guests that are successful have this plan. You continued your education because you didn't stop there.
Right.
You had all this great favor in Ohio. You come make the transition to Los Angeles, but you get your education by obtaining your fashion degree from the Art Institute of California, where you graduated with honors.
Yes, I did.
That's a good point to tie that in, yeah.
Right. How that was tied in was I facilitated an after-school program because I was an AmeriCorps member in Columbus, and as I facilitated, and I did that, I think, for like 6 or 7 years. I was a after-school program that was basically kind of took place in different, you know, parts of the city that, you know, inner city basically.
For the kids?
For the kids that, you know, that may not be able to be in areas that couldn't afford to maybe have that art lesson or that dance lesson and things like that. So it was like a team of us, and like I taught dance, and one of my teammates was an artist, so she was a painter, so she taught painting. And I facilitated at the Boys and Girls Boys and Girls Club on the west side of Columbus. I've always had a strong tie with them through the years.
Well, it sounds like from the church. You said the church kind of gave you that sense of community and getting out there and giving back.
Right. So
wow, this is beautiful.
Through the AmeriCorps.
What's AmeriCorps?
AmeriCorps is a company, an organization that actually President Bill Clinton started, and it's a sister organization to the Peace Corps.
Oh, okay.
And so, the Peace Corps, usually it either deals with like the elderly or children, and then some they would go like to different countries and build, homes and things like that, help with electricity, with homes and electricity. The Peace Corps did stuff like that, and then the AmeriCorps was basically here in the States that did programs for kids, like our art program, or
extracurricular activities,
right, or a program that was centered towards seniors or like vets and things like that that would help them.
Well, you know what you're talking about. You had God's favor and blessings that you worked really hard, but you gave back.
Right.
You know what? You went out there, and it doesn't seem like to me you were following the path of money. Money comes, they say, but you're following your passions. Would you?
Right, I would definitely say that. You're following your passions, and if you can take your passions and turn it into
absolutely,
money, then that's good.
Right.
And whether it's helping you or you are, turning something into, because a lot of times when I'll do like different events, I'll give a small percentage of the earnings to one of the organizations that I'm involved in. So it's in return, it's helping me, but it's also helping someone else as well. So.
Wow.
Well,
Teresa,
I wanted to touch on some of your accolades because it goes on and on. And
some of them. Well, I thought we were already there.
You have provided services for Tyra Banks on the Tyra Banks Show and America's Next Top Model, which won you an Emmy Award.
She did what now? I'm sorry, I was so excited. What she did?
She worked with Tyra Banks on the Tyra Banks Show and the America's Next Top Model.
Okay.
Where it won an Emmy.
What were you doing?
Yeah, so
for the wardrobe.
I was actually doing hair I was the key hair person for all the guests on the Tyra Banks on her talk show. It was two of us. It was a young lady by the name of Kia Wright, who was Tyra's personal stylist at the time. Of course, the host always has her own personal hair, makeup, and wardrobe person. And then you have the key person, hair, makeup, and wardrobe, who takes care of all the guests. Because it's a talk show, so you have different guests come on every day, as you know.
Yeah, really.
So that was a great experience, because on a talk show you get to meet several. I got to meet some amazing actors and artists on that show. Working in on a talk show versus. Working on a television show, not that you don't work with great people, because my wife and our family are definitely a great second family for me, but you're working with that's what makes them family, because you're actually working with them every day.
So it's like anyone else who goes to work and comes home. It's just a whole nother industry,
right?
Absolutely. Well, I'm still trying to.
I know she also worked on the Sharon Osbourne show.
Wow.
You worked with Erica Ash from Survivor Remorse, and she was on The Real Husbands of Hollywood. Amelia from Young and the Restless. Angela Caldwell, if I get her name right. Angel Caldwell from Family Ties and Young and the Restless. You work with Bone Thugs and Harmony. Again, I mentioned former President Bush.
Thank you for coming. Wow, you can squeeze us in here. Wow.
But I did want to touch on this because you've been very stable. I think you've been with them now 10 years. You are the stylist and wardrobe key person for the CBS series, the #1 daytime soap opera, The Young and the Restless.
Wow.
Yes, I'm actually I'm one of the wardrobe styles. I'm part of a team. There's two designers. There we have a team of 7. I think there's 7 of us all together. Yeah, a lot goes in because we have close to 40. At least I know 30 something actors that are regular actors on the show that we have to dress.
What's the vision of what as a stylist? Okay, that's just simplifying it. What is your vision when you see someone? How do you do that? I mean, what goes into that?
Well, with a show, with a television show or a film, you're actually dressing them according to the script.
Okay.
It's really all about the script, whether the person's in the settings in the office, or they're at home, or they're out at one of the restaurants that might be one of the sets. So it's really you're actually going by.
But you still have to get the personality of the actress.
Oh yeah, and with actors, and especially with the Young and the Restless, those characters have been long running characters that have been
developed throughout the years.
So everybody has their own look,
signature
look, so to speak. So with that show, it's like a well-oiled machine. So that show was already.
Yeah, I remember that.
Some of the new characters, you have fun with, helping to develop, but it still goes. It's a team, because, it's not necessarily even what our vision is. It's we sit down. It depends on like what the producers might see what their vision is, and then of course the actor, him or herself, always has their vision of what they see as well. So you have to take all that.
You got a lot. That's a lot to take in.
Right. It's all that,
and then come out with the finished product.
Right. Because just because you might now, as a stylist, you should know, especially if you're working with someone on a regular basis, you should definitely have gotten to know what styles and what cuts and what things look good on them. But what you might think that you like and look good doesn't mean that the actor or the talent thinks the same thing. So you kind of try to find that happy medium.
Is that what you knew you were going to do as a child when you were going to fashion school, that you would eventually end up wardrobe and doing different designs for people in showbiz? Or is that what you were going for, or was it?
I don't know if I thought necessarily that at the time, what I was going to do, because I even thought about even going to work for a fashion house at one time.
What is a fashion house?
To work for like a fashion brand, like say Donna Karan, or or
Calvin Klein.
Gap or Calvin Klein or something like that. I mean, they all have like design teams or whatever. I mean, even stores like Gap and Forever 21, they still have their own, their designers and things like that. So at that time, I don't think I knew exactly which way, but since I was already, it just was a natural fit, because I was already in the industry doing hair, and I felt like I was already, I had already kind of started to kind of develop and get the credibility that I wanted as a hairstylist. And when I had this education money from my AmeriCorps program that was at the Boys and Girls Club, I knew I had this education, and I thought, okay, well, what am I going to, because you have 7 years to use the money towards education, because they lot you out a stipend to run your program, but then you also get a stipend, for education. And I kind of forgot I had the money, because just life gets busy and goes on. But they sent me something that was like, okay, you're approaching your last year. What are you going to do with this money? Because they just kind of put it back in the bank, so to speak. So I said, okay, well, whatever I decide to do with it has to be something that's already coinciding to what I'm doing, because
with your talent, right?
Because I don't want to spend time. I was working full time. I don't want to spend time going to school and having to study, because it's something that you got to study. You got to pass. Not only am I working 40, 50 hours a week, but I got to go home, go to class, and then I got to go home, study, get the work done. Make sure I can pass these classes and courses. So it has to be something that I'm going to be interested in. If not, I'm just wasting my time if I'm not going to use it. So to me, it was a perfect fit to throw, because I was already kind of styling. So I felt like, what more could I ask for, if also to be able to construct the garment as well and understand the construction of a garment. So if I wanted to, actually design something, I actually could design it. I wouldn't have to go necessarily get somebody else to design my ideal. I could design my ideal myself.
And that's when you started the House of Bronax.
And that's when I started the House of Bronax.
Well, before she goes into that, you need to talk to the young people out there who, I know colors, and I can go right in there and get myself a job and style hair, and I can go there and write on a piece of paper. I mean, it's work, huh, girl?
Oh, it's work.
Girlfriend,
yeah.
what
would you tell somebody out there who's listening and viewing? Our target demographic is a little younger. What would you tell somebody out there who's listening and viewing, who wants to break into the fashion industry? You got years and years of dedication, years and years of education to do what you're doing now. What would you tell somebody out there who's maybe interested in going into the fashion industry?
Oh, I would say, if that's your passion, definitely go forward. Try to figure out exactly what your goal is, because the fashion industry is very large.
Right.
So, what do you want to be, a designer? Do you want to, of course, it's so good to to go off and work for someone else, because at least it's a learning thing. But do you also want to go into your your own design as well. And like, do you want to do accessories? Do you want to be apparel? Do you want to go into menswear? So many accolades.
But you have to go to school.
You have to go to school first.
That's the thing. You can have the talent, but you have to go to school.
Right.
You got to have some type of education, right?
The education helps. Now, there are designers out here that have been successful and they don't have any formal technical.
That's right. Back in the day. I've been good in there now today.
Formal technical,
Yeah.
but I think that it definitely helps, even if you just get like your associate degree, even if it's just 2 years, because you want to understand what it is that you're getting in, if that's what you're getting into, because you can definitely get taken advantage of if you don't know anything about the construction of a garment, and giving your money to someone else and say, hey, do this, especially if you're trying to do something like overseas. You're not probably going to be in a position where you're going to be able to fly over there and take care of things and see how they do things. Of course, luckily for me, all my stuff is made in Los Angeles. That was just one of the things that I wanted to happen with my brand, is that I wanted to be able to keep everything in-house and keep everything local.
Well, I want to talk about
the
that, but
house
when
of-
we come
yeah.
back, ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen, Teresa Bronax is going to talk about her new book, Success in Beauty, The Secrets to Confidently Following Your Dreams Effortlessly, and your company, the House of
It don't
Bronax.
sound effortless to me. But
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joy in My House. I want you to stay tuned. We're going to come right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Joy in My House, inspirational reality show with a touch of recovery. A reality show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant who shares.
I'm joined here by my co-host and author of Shaped by the Master's Hands,
I'm
Lolita
so
Robinson.
I'm learning so much today.
And our in-studio guest,
Yeah.
Teresa Bronax. She is the author of Success in Beauty, The Secrets to Confidently Following Your Dreams Effortlessly. And you're the founder and CEO of House of Bronax. Before we get into the book, tell us, why did you start your line? Why did you start your own company?
So you have your own fashion house? That's what you call? Is that what it is?
That's what I call it. It might be a small fashion house right now, but
It's a
I'm trying to
fashion
grow
house,
it.
girl. There
But
you go.
I actually, when I first kind of started doing design, once I got my degree and everything, I was doing a lot of like dresses, because I felt like dresses was, I wouldn't say easy, but it was, what woman doesn't need a good, good dress. So, so I was doing that, and I had made a couple, designs for different people. And, I did some T-shirts and just was doing like custom things as people, would say, hey, can you make this? I hadn't really thought about like a collection or anything like that. And then I ended up getting diagnosed with breast cancer. And,
oh, wow. In the middle of all this?
In kind of like the middle of all this. I was diagnosed of June of 2009. So 5-year cancer survivor. Woo-woo.
Oh, congratulations.
Amen.
That's
Thank you,
big.
thank
you.
I've lost a lot of people to that dreadful disease. You're a miracle.
So thank you very
God.
much. So that was
so that must have set you back a little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah.
It was kind of a shock. It wasn't something that ran in my family. I'm a fairly healthy person. I've never been in the hospital before, other than giving birth to my children, and never really been sick. But I caught it at a regular annual checkup, and mammogram, and that's actually how they, found my cancer. And once we did everything we need to do and found, determined that it was cancer, because I always tell people, just because they find something I didn't think like the worst, like, okay, I have cancer, because it
could have been anything.
Yeah, it could have been anything. Could have
But
been
it turned
cyst.
out
It could
to
have
be.
been. But it did turn out to be cancer. Luckily, we found it in time. I was like what they call like stage 2B. So, which because it was in a couple different places.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but we got it under control. I, had the surgery, made decision like what surgery was best for me. Had the surgery. Had to take a year off work, so we had to put things on the back burner a little bit.
Oh wow. A lot of time with the Lord during that time.
Contemplating. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've never really lost faith though, because I think that I feel like I handled it pretty good. I had like family and friends, I think, that were a little bit more distraught than I was, because I feel like, again, if you're not going to have faith, you can't go to church every day and say you believe and say you're a Christian if you're not going to have faith. So I never questioned, why me, or or had the negative thought like this was like the end. I just said, okay, well, let me, get some knowledge, because I like knowledge. Let me do my research and find out what I got, what I'm dealing with, listen to what the doctors was telling me, and do the best thing that I think that would work for me. Luckily for me, I was in pretty good shape, pretty healthy. I work out, all the time. I've always been active. I work out because I enjoy working out. And I even say in the book that, not just working hard and planning and setting your goals, just taking care of you.
There you go.
And being healthy and staying active and getting, even if you don't like to, I'm not saying you have to be a gym buff and go to the gym, but get active, do something, go walk or whatever, go cycle or whatever it is that you like to do. Whether go take salsa dancing class. That's a form of exercise and it's fun. So it doesn't have to necessarily be in the gym, but get active, and because when things like that do arrive, because with things like cancer and things like that, I mean, I couldn't have done anything to prevent it. So
that's
the best thing to do is just to live a healthy lifestyle, so when you are faced with those challenges, that you're not dealing with other ailments, because my doctor was saying that usually when he's treating someone with cancer, they're also dealing with like high blood pressure, diabetes, especially in the African American, world, and you're dealing with other things, and luckily for me,
you didn't have that.
Luckily, I didn't have that, so it kind of made, kind of helped with my recovery and my surgeries. Because the thing is, I mean, did you have
chemo and radiation?
I had in a 12 months time, I had 4 surgeries and 6 months of chemo.
Oh, that's a lot.
So it's a lot.
Teresa, that's a miracle.
Yeah,
you know what?
hard.
Really, I was telling the church staff, 6 people that I know I've sat bedside who have been faced with this dreadful disease. You are a walking miracle. I'm so honored for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was.
Must have been a battle.
It was a battle, but I just said I just try to stay positive, and I just said to myself, you know what, I am gonna cry about it, because I felt like I needed to get that emotion out.
There you go.
And I wasn't gonna hold on to that emotion, but I'm the type of person that I'll cry about it, get it out, and then after that I'm done. Let's move on. What I need to do. Let's go.
I love that.
So
well, let's talk about that.
That's beautiful.
Because
a
bunch of surgeries, chemo, was preparing you for what you're doing now, because now you're giving back and you're giving advice in your new book.
And I would now, you know what? I would take it.
Success in Beauty. Tell us what the book's about, and we're kind of running out of time, so tell us what the book's about and what people can find out in this book.
The book is Success in Beauty: The Secrets to Confidently Following Your Dreams. It kind of came about quickly. Let me say a little bit about that. It kind of came about, I met a woman by the name of Charlotte Howard, who compiled the book together, who's a #1 international best-selling author herself, like a zillion times, and she's a motivational speaker, and I actually was a guest on her radio show.
Oh, okay.
And after
hello, Charlie. Blessings to you.
So after kind of talking and being a guest on her show, telling my testimony, she was like, I have this project that I'm working on, and I think you'd be perfect for this project. So she told me about it, and she basically brought together 8 other extraordinary women who are have accomplished great things themselves, and have their own testimonies themselves, who have dealt with
overcoming
with anything.
things.
Overcoming things, and also overcoming things, and fulfilling some of their dreams and passions and stuff as well, and have definitely had, all of them have definitely had their own successes amongst themselves as well. So we all kind of came together. We're all from different facets of life, live in different places. But I think it's a wonderful thing that 9 women, females, can collaborate. And
That's
yes,
awesome.
people, 9 women can actually get together,
get together and do it,
and do it, and come
and
not be bickering and back and forth, and actually empower each other and encourage each other, and just be there for each other. Whether it's to pray, to lend a hand, to encourage, to maybe give you advice to get to the next plateau of wherever you're trying to push to, because we're all trying to. I always use this, and I say this in my book too. Always stay hungry, because if you're always hungry, you're always going to grow. You always want to get to the next thing. Once you stop being hungry for your passion, that's when your growth stops, and there's always room for growth. And I'm always looking to get to the next level. So what the book does is it gives you the tools and some of the accolades that can help you get to that next plateau, whether you are just beginning to figure out what your goals and aspirations are, or
in the middle of it,
or if you're in the middle of it and say you have had a great life and accomplished the things, but maybe you're retired and maybe you want to say, well, what do I do now, or can I turn this hobby, because I really want it to be let's just say you wanted to be a painter, or you wanted to be a florist, and maybe now that I'm retired from this, can I go into this next step and next phase in my life? And we just try to give you some of the strategies and tools.
9 different people's experience to show you from different perspectives and backgrounds and how to do it.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Success and beauty, the secrets to confidently following your dreams effortlessly.
And good luck on your house, your little house too that you were talking about, your designs.
You can find this on Amazon.com/Teresa Bronax. Also, if you want to find out more regarding Teresa and her fashion design, and houseofbroxton.com is where you can find it.
Can you order clothes there?
You would not clothes, but handbags. But the website is down right now for the handbags, so we're kind of I'm revamping the website, and I'm going to add the book on there as well, so you can also get the book from me. But because I tell people, everybody always been asking me about a signed copy. Of course, you can buy the book from Amazon, and I think Barnes and Nobles, and I even think it's on iTunes as well, or it will be on iTunes. But a lot of people have been asking me about signed copies, because of course, if you order it from Amazon, it's not signed.
So if they get it from your website,
they give it from my website, and right now, because my website is under construction, you can go to my Facebook page.
It is facebook.com/House of Bronax. I want to make sure that it's House of Bronax. You also have a Twitter page, which is the House of Bronax on Twitter as well for more information. I want them to go to the right page.
Yes.
And if you like the Facebook fan page, you'll receive up-to-date lineups of what you're doing, where you're speaking, where you're doing book signings. It's an amazing thing that you're giving back.
It sure is.
So much experience that you have, so many accolades and so many people that you work with, but now you're giving back.
And challenges in there, and you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay positive and be able to help some people coming up that may have, that wasn't maybe there for me. And even though, I did have some good people in life, and I always say it's important to have a good foundation, a good circle
of people. That's right.
People, and not that you can't love the people that are negative, but love them from afar.
Love
them from afar.
Yeah,
and I've learned that to love. I love them from afar. I still love you, but I gotta love you from afar, because there's nothing but positive stuff over here. Okay.
Well, Teresa, I want to thank you for coming on the show. The show is coming to a close.
Thank you.
Well, we like to ask this of all of our guests. The name of the show is Joy in My House. Lolita has an amazing single off her first CD called Joy in My House. And the premise is the midst of the joy that we have, whether we're being challenged or in our successes, in our things that are really working out for us. What does Joy in My House mean to you in today's day and age?
Joy in my house means to me is pretty much what the title says, joy in my house. Just nothing but positive energy and just positive things going on in my house, so to speak, whether it's my personal sector, my business sector, my or my giving back sector, things that are just positive. just staying happy and being happy and living life to its fullest. I feel like, you know, you're not promised tomorrow, and when you
That's right.
and when you're faced with something that's life threatening, you really start looking at things a little differently. So you're not as tolerable of unnecessary things in your life that doesn't need to be there.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I tell people: shed the negative stuff from your life, and just be, and if you don't have that positive circle, that's when you have to become your number one fan. I always tell people, I've always been my number one fan. I've always believed in me, and if you believe in yourself, then you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable.
All right.
Very well said. Beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is
Thank
Joanne
you,
House. You can
Teresa.
find more
Thank you.
information on TeresaBronax.com. You can also find her on Facebook /HouseofBronax.com, which is her fashion house. Thank you for coming on the show, Teresa. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thanks for
Finally,
having me.
okay,
I
she
know,
came. All
I
right.
know.
I want all of you to join us live every Sunday here at noon with life-changing stories of hope and inspiration. Next week, we have our in-studio guest, Joe Clark. He is a Celebrate Recovery leader for Saddleback Church. You're not going to want to miss. You guys have a blessed day.
Yes.
I'm always in one of mine. Constant spins, not trusting. He opens doors to go in, but I'm afraid to depend upon him. I bring him ashes for gold. He starts to work, I put him on hold. Still he's faithful to me, 'cause he's blind.